So if you know me, you'll know that I love villains. There are a lot of times some of my favorite characters in shows or movies. So today I'll be going over some of my favorite villains from movies and why I like them so much. Anyway, let's get into it. The first villain I'm going to talk about is Darth Vader. The original trilogy were the Star Wars movies I grew up watching on VHS. I'm not kidding. We had 3 of them in a case in a VHS player, so that's what we watched them on. I always thought Darth Vader was cool, but when I watched the rest of Star Wars, I learned his entire backstory, and that made me appreciate his character even more. And dude, that scene from Rogue One, quite possibly my favorite Darth Vader scene ever. The next villain I'm going to cover is Snow from Hunger Games. I just got into watching the Hunger Games last year. I really liked the original 4 movies, and Snow just seemed like your normal run-of-the-mill villain until I watched the newest movie, Songbirds and Snakes. I would highly recommend watching. It's a really great. It's Snow's backstory and it shows how he slowly changes into a villain. Honestly, it's the best villain origin movie I've watched. It really gives depth to his character and teaches us the lesson that the small choices in life can lead and snowball into bigger consequences. He goes from basically a senior in high school just trying to win a scholarship to a soldier in the army to eventually selling out his best friend and attempting to kill that one girl. I don't even remember her name. Doesn't matter. But Snow's arc in the movie was excellent, and that's why he got a spot in this video. The third villain I'm going to talk about is Venom. One time I was walking through Walmart and I saw a toy for something called Maximum Venom, and I was already a big MCU fan, so when I saw the Venom versions of those characters, I thought it was really cool, but I assumed it was just an action figure thing. But when I was on vacation, I saw a thing for the TV show that had the Maximum Venom run. I watched the first part of the show and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I showed the rest of my family. They weren't quite as thrilled as I was. Anyway, after that, I really thought Venom was just such a cool character. I eventually found out that there was more to the Venom arc in the show and I watched it. I haven't watched the Venom movies yet, and I might watch them soon, but we'll see. I don't know how many people know who Grand Admiral Thrawn is, but he's a character from Star Wars. He was featured in Rebels, Ahsoka, and Tales of the Empire. He's an incredibly intelligent villain, and the coolest part about him is he isn't arrogant, proud, or just like pure evil. The reason he does what he does is because he thinks the Empire is better than the anarchy of the rebellion, and he's partially right. They also wrote a book about his backstory, and it's an excellent read. It really shows you how he thinks. Alright, on to the final villain for the video. Thanos is my favorite villain. Why? Well, I said earlier I really liked the MCU when I was growing up, so obviously I was gonna like Thanos as a villain. But what made him stick out, different than the other villains, it was his motivation. What he was doing was wrong, but his motivation was honorable. He is the perfect definition of using ends to justify the means. He was trying to stop overpopulation, but he was using questionable methods to solve it. But in one way that makes you respect him more. He isn't just talking, he's willing to do. Even if it isn't quite moral, it makes you have to give him some credit. But yeah, those are some of my favorite villains. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Also, this video was fun to make, so if I get a single like, I'm gonna do it again. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Peace!